Hey there folks, rinimt here, and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn. In the last part, we met Iceheart Isael and cleared Snowcloak. There was a bunch of other stuff too, but that was the main point. For the greater good. Antecedent, you've come to us straight from the archives of House Forton. I trust your time there proved fruitful. What did it had, Orionje and I scored countless texts, but what we found was of questionable veracity. Accounts of Shiva's life and deeds are sparse and contradictory, only agreeing upon one point. She lay down with a dragon, the gravest of all sins according to the Ishgardian faith. Yet in the eyes of Iceheart's followers, this was a holy act, a blessed union of man and dragon. How such a thing could even be possible is quite another question. Suffice it to say, I very much doubt that we will find a useful answer in the archives of House Forton. Much knowledge has been lost over the centuries, though in this case one wonders if it is by circumstance or design. So the Iceheart took a moment to plead her case prior to escaping, did he not? Viewed without prejudice, most would agree that bringing an end to an endless war serves the greater good. I think Sir Aymeric may take issue with her methods. I do not care if a few strugglers manage to escape until a sapper is confirmed that the tunnel is safe and men are not to search it. Yes, Lord Commander. You pursue your foes with less zeal than I had expected, Sir Aymeric. As you must understand, I do not deny that our enemy has given us good reason to be prudent. I merely meant, you being a man of faith, I had expected certain single-mindedness. After all, was it not by the will of Helone that your ancestors came to this land? Why, they took up arms against the Dravanians? What would they have done in your position, I wonder? There are those who believe that faith is a renunciation of free will, that unquestioning devotion is required of all who would live a life of service to the Fury. Such righteous fervor may well serve a knight on the front lines, less so a leader of men. We are all at liberty to interpret the scriptures as we will. I choose to believe that the Fury would value the lives of her followers over the deaths of her enemies. But I would not presume to speak for the Knights of El. 'Twas a different time, nay, a different era, and scripture tells us only so much. What did it told us more? Man is awfully pragmatic for a servant of the Holy See. Well contrary at the negotiating table, to be sure, less so when one's enemies are making ready to harness the power of a god. Mayhap he does not truly believe that Iceheart's plan can succeed. Truth be told, I too remain somewhat skeptical. Shiva was real, a living, breathing woman, of that there can be no doubt. In this respect, she differs from every other figure to have been summoned, each of whom was worshipped as a god. The sole exception being good King Moth as well, the myth made manifest in response to a fervent supplications of the Mogul's Guard. Saint Shiva may differ, but what of the heretics? They are a tribe of outcasts at war with a mighty nation who yearn for the resurrection of the one who embodies their beliefs. If that is not placing one's faith in a higher power, then what is? Crystals and convictions, Minfilia. They have them both in abundance. Can that truly be all that is required? My survey team has concluded a preliminary analysis of the Aetheryte Iceheart used to escape. They believe that she teleported to another Aetheryte somewhere not far to the west. Despite the apparent proximity of the second Aetheryte, however, they have been wholly unable to detect his presence directly. Unless Isart has some means to mask its signal, I can only presume she had it destroyed to prevent us from following her. Without the means to teleport to Shiva, we have no choice but to search for an alternate route. Most likely a tunnel, assuming one exists. Let us not give up on teleportation just yet. One of our colleagues in Charlene may be able to assist us. I pray that you are right. I dare not think how long it would take us to survey the entire tunnel system. While Minfield looks into our Aetheryte problem, I would like to request your assistance with another matter. The third unit is currently tracking the remnants of the heretic force which attacked us. However, the search goes poorly despite our numbers. Coerthus is vast, and Iceheart's followers know the terrain far better than we. Our knowledge of this region may serve to hasten the process. The sooner we capture Iceheart's followers, the sooner we can press them for their leader's whereabouts. Also, though it is admittedly a selfish request, I feel that my braves would benefit immensely from working alongside you. While we have our share of veterans, we also have more than a few less experienced recruits, many of whom look up to you in case you were not aware. Good, I knew you would understand. Smile and nod. You, Hase, can apprise you of the details. When the task is complete, come and find me at the observatorium. Captain Elbert and I are meeting there to discuss the latest developments in his investigation. The Temple Knights shall hold Snowcloak in our absence. Let us leave them to their work. Ours is more pressing. You know, often though, maybe if you dress like Minfilia is, you would be warmer. There you are, Arya. Commander Livia instructed me to wait for you. Your assistance is most welcome, believe me. Most of the third hail from Ul'dah. For a man accustomed to the feel of sand beneath his boots, the crunch of snow can be rather disconcerting. But to the matter at hand, nary a moment ago, I received word that the heretics we seek have been spotted making for Denethor Pass. My braves are already in pursuit, and I should be grateful if you would join them. I myself shall be taking part in the hunt. Never let be said I did not earn my coin. Alright, so that's a little pass back here. So let us head on over. Flying over the mountains isn't gonna do much. It's just gonna take longer to get all the way up there. I can still fly this much. Yay, flying! Flying's great. I love flying. Flying. Anyway, right at this fate here, this walk or talk, we've got a brave. Balls, my ankle's on fire. Caught my boot on a rock or something and twisted it as I fell. Ugh. There was one on ahead through Denethor Pass. Hurry and you might catch up. If you're unsure where to go, look for tracks. The snow is fresh, so they shouldn't be hard to find. So we do have to go all the way down there. Ugh, I know how it is to twist an ankle like that, though. Ugh. Like, mid-2019, I was out shopping and stepped on a rock in the parking lot and twisted my ankle. Ended up kind of pulling loose some muscles on the side, ended up hurting, eventually got physical therapy, and now it's better. I mean, occasionally I'll get a little blip, but it's like, ugh. Walking really sucked for a while. Like, I could do it for a little bit, but after a while, it's like, ah. Tracks lead southeast. Alright, let's go southeast. Oh, we've got a brave here. Sion, what are you doing here? The heretics? I'm not sure. There was a great deal of peace, and you, Hase? I think he went east on his own. The heretics split up, so we did too. Okay, that's honestly sounding a little suspicious. He's like, oh yeah, I don't know, maybe over that way. Alright, we've got some harriers here. So let's punch them down for good measure. And speak with you, Hase. How embarrassing. I was so intent on following the heretic's tracks that I almost failed to notice that they had double back. Almost, my dear. One tried to sneak up behind me and got a knife in the gut for his troubles. I I thought myself alone, so I started searching the dead man's knapsack for anything of interest, and lo and behold, before his friends found me, I came upon this. Withdraw in groups of 3 or less to the observatorium. Give the signal and wait. The merchant will be watching. Be late and be left for dead. Speaks for itself, does it not? They can't possibly mean the rendezvous inside the place, so we should restrict our search to the surrounding areas. Let me rephrase that. You should restrict your search to the wilderness around the observatorium. I will need more than a moment's rest to recover from these wounds. I thought you were fine! It's like, oh, now I have to recover. What the heck? What the hecking heck? That's all I have to say. Alright, looks like we are heading north of... Nah, just barely northwest of the observatorium, it looks like. Literally right on the outside. Suspicious Corthan. I am through with listening to your excuses. We leave now. How? The woods are crawling with those blue coats, and the knights are searching every wagon that passes through the gates. Hi. Well, stay with her then, if you think you'll fare any better. Now, there's no need for that. There are places like this in my homeland. Sacred snow-capped peaks where blood must not be shed. Oh, hey, Yugiri. Let your lands ever thirst for the blood of the fallen. By your deeds, it has drunk deep. No, I have done no wrong. None but meet in secret with the heretics. Deny it all you will. We shall have the truth from you yet. Visitors are not the only ones skilled in the art of interrogation. Damn it all. Fancy meeting you here, Arya. I presume your work with the Third brought you hither. What a tangled web. Lest you wonder, we came not for the heretics, but for the merchant who has been conspiring with them. Came to our attention during the course of our investigation into the Ivy. Baker's belief, I know, but it seems our favorite Garling's blood may have been providing assistance to Iceheart. Were it not for the efforts of Lady Yugiri and her shinobi, we might never have discovered this connection. Master Alvin was too kind. I fear my people and I have done little to aid your search for this spy. We long to strike back against the Empire and weaken their influence in this land, to prevent the tragedy which befell Doma from reoccurring. The days ahead and the work they promise will require a very particular set of skills which I am fortunate enough to possess. If you will allow it, I will accompany you until the investigation is complete. That is a most generous offer, Lady Yugiri, and one which I gladly accept. Thank you. Though I may disappear for a time, know that I shall never be far and shall always be watching. A comforting thought. Come, Arya, let us wait inside for Captain Ilbert to return and deliver his report. Alright, let's hop on over the fence and hop on over the building and go inside. Barely hop on over the little wall there. Captain Ilbert seems confident the merchant's resolve would swiftly crumble when pressed. If so, we should have new information ere long. As to whether it will bring us any closer to learning the Ivy's identity, I would rather not say. Given our adversary's cunning, I shall consider us fortunate if we are spared another wild dodo chase. The gods know we have more than enough to occupy our time as it is. Alright, Tendrils of Intrigue. Captain Ilbert, your report, if you will. Aye, Commander. Firstly, with regard to the heretic we captured, I regret to say that the man could tell us naught that we did not already know of Shiva. We have since handed him over to the Ashgardian authorities. Henceforth, the Holy See will pursue the matter independently. Our inquiries concerning the Ivy, however, have proven more fruitful. We have ascertained the channel by which the heretics acquired their information on the shipment routes. Go on. You will recall the flame we first identified as being in the Ivy's employ. From him, we were able to trace a trail of conspirators, each taking us closer to his master. Alas, the trail came to an abrupt end. Fearing that the investigation had been compromised, we took a necessary step of detaining all suspected of conspiracy. There are 5 on our list, including a flame stationed at Revenant's Toll. The man's primary duty was to keep an inventory on donations from abroad, the particulars of which he would share with benefactors, thereby ensuring that needs did not go unfulfilled. By virtue of his role, he was privy to the details of all shipments bound for the settlement. Needless to say, that included those originating from House Forton. He knew the precise route the caravan would take, and he sold that information to a merchant. I think I can guess which one. None other. With a little encouragement, he soon confessed to knowingly aiding and abetting the heretics. Well, that is one mystery solved at least, but what of the Ivy? Are we any closer to prizing off his mask? I dare say we are, Commander. A relentless pursuit has forced him to commit a grave error. In desperate bid to cover his tracks, the Ivy resort to exercising certain administrative powers available only to high-ranking members of the Immortal Flames. If you consider that, then, that our investigation is known to barely a handful of them, this field of suspects is greatly narrowed. You mean to say the agent is among Rabban's innermost circle? Someone who has been with him since the Immortal Flames' establishment? 'Tis the most plausible explanation. The infiltration likely occurred during the company's founding, with the groundwork for the act being laid beforehand. Slip into a position of authority unremarked and remain above suspicion all these years. I too was surprised, though I really should not have been. Of the three grand companies, Uldaz was ever the more vulnerable to infiltration. Both Limits and Gridani have long-standing armed forces that lent themselves well to the formation of the Maelstrom and the Order of the Twin Elder. To all intents and purposes, it was the same people, loyal ones mine, under the same leadership, only the banner was different. That's of the Flames. Uldaz's military was made up of disparate orders, most of which were glorified mercenaries, companies that answer only to their own paymasters. Hardly an ideal environment in which to establish something as high-minded as a grand company. The difficulties Rabban faced when founding the Immortal Flames are well known. Even after he had convinced his fellow syndicate members to share the cause, there remained a small matter of finding enough bodies to fill the ranks. Indeed, and given the pressing nature of the Imperial threat, that meant recruiting every passing sellsword. Amidst the chaos of its founding, it would have been child's play to infiltrate the company. A good deal easier than now. Aye. The Immortal Flames have ever been caught between conflicting interests, the public and the private. The Monitors ultimately agreed to support the organization's founding. It was not out of charity that they did so, but simple self-preservation. Had Nail Van Darnus' ambitions been any less apocalyptic, you may be sure that they would have never risked supplying Rabban with an army. 'Tis but a wonder that they did not attempt to extinguish the flames the moment the danger had passed. And returning to the present, even as we speak, our Doman allies are shadowing several high-ranking flames, any one of whom could be the Ivy. Desiring to deal a blow against the Empire, the refugees were eager to lend us their aid. Expect to hear from them ere long. Very good. Pray continue your investigation with the first. Meanwhile, have the second attend to the unrest, the third can join the fourth in inspecting crystal shipments. If you notice anything unusual, I would want to know of it. If Shiva is summoned in the matter to the other primals, the heretics will be looking for further supplies. Understood, Commander. I shall send word to Sir Amak, informing him of our success in identifying the heretics of others. Hopefully, the information will be of some use to the Ashgardians. It is time, Commander. Yes, I'm aware. An emergency council of the Alliance leadership has been called. There have been developments in Garlemald, it would seem. As Commander of the Crystal Braves, my presence has been requested. I'd have you accompany me, Arya, as the realm's stoutest champion, to only meet that you be present for the discussion. Oh, and the antecedent has already given her consent, lest you worry. Smile and nod. Yep. Alright. Oh, speak with Alphino right here. Like me, you are doubtless eager to conclude our business with Iceheart, but until another path for a sanctum is found, she will remain beyond our reach. Mentally and the Archons are sparing no effort to secure an alternate route. Until such time as they succeed, I suggest we give some thought to the realm's other problems. Shogun ahead to Gridania in readiness for the coming council. Meet me in Nafika's altar, and we shall make our way to Lotus Dam together. Alright, off to Gridania, as Alphino very slowly walks away. Where are you, Alphino? There you are. My thanks for coming, Arya. When you are ready to speak with the conjurer, yonder she will show us to the lotus stand. The Alliance leaders await you at the lotus stand. Will you be joining them now? Yeah. Let's go. This is almost certainly voiced, right?
Change has come to the Garlean Empire, and we must discuss the implications.
The rumors are true, then? The War of Succession is ended?
It is. A new emperor reigns in Garlemald.
Who?
The birth and all too rapid expansion of the Garlean Empire is commonly attributed to the strategic brilliance of Solus Zosgalvis, yet he did not rule alone. Several members of the royal household also distinguished themselves during his reign. Nevertheless, it was the eldest son who stood to inherit the throne, until his most untimely passing.
I thought us fortunate when I learned that the Emperor had died without naming a successor.
Would that the Garlean Empire had died with him.
'Twas the grandson and his uncle who had the strongest claims, was it not?
Indeed, yet claims count for little without the power to assert them. High Legatus Varus Ye Galvus is a respected military leader, not so his uncle.
So young Varus has torn the crown from his uncle's grasp and taken his place at the head of the Empire.
Given the troubled nature of his succession, the new emperor will require time to seal his grip on power. Yet have no doubt but that he shall, for there are none left with strength enough to oppose him.
Since the success of Operation Archon, the remnants of the 14th Legion and the forces occupying Alamigo have done naught but fortify their positions. But you can be sure they'll be ready to march on us again, if their Emperor gives the word.
When, not if. They say this Varus was so set upon Eorzean annexation that he spoke out against the Meteor Project.
Plainly, the new emperor's intentions are of great concern to us all. I propose that we set aside the Cartano dispute for the present, and discuss what measures the Alliance might take to prepare for a resumption of hostilities with Garlemald. Moreover, I move that we re-examine the question of how our former allies in Ishgard might be persuaded to retake their place at our side. Could Eorzea but stand as one, 'twould deal a grave blow to our enemies' ambitions.
Well, I suppose we should be grateful that they have finally acknowledged the inevitability of Imperial attack. Who knows? They may even do something about it. If only the leaders of Ishgard would follow their example and stop hiding behind their gates, praying for the coming storm to pass them by. But that is a discussion for another time. At present, I am more concerned by the fact that the Alliance's mooted preparations will be made known to the Garleans many moons before their coming. So long as the ivy eludes our grasp, no secret is safe.
Whew. It will not have escaped your notice that the nations of Eorzea are no nearer to being of one purpose despite their protestations to the contrary. Plainly, the threat of a resurgent Garlemald is not enough to stir them. And the reason for this? Deeper the mistrust amongst the citizenry. The nation's leaders can come to all the understanding they like that their unity means little and less to the common folk. Take a little instance, for example. Though Admiral Webb outlawed piracy over a decade ago, foreigners still picture the nation as a haven for grog-swilling, wood-legged cutthroats. And likewise, Gridanians are more determined to talk to trees, and the Eldons scorn the swindlers who worship coin. Not that such sentiments are entirely without grounds, of course. Take that Pillar of Eldon society, Telegia the Legi, for example. But that is beside the point. The fact is that people are wary of outsiders whether they have cause to be or not. On that basis, one could even argue that the conflict that Cartano is a necessary evil. Each nation has its own warmongering faction that advocates the acquisition of Omega, but in order to placate them, we present them with something resembling warfare and thereby curb their appetite for a full-scale conflict. But enough idle musing, let's speak of a more pressing matter, the Ivy. Since we spoke the Observatorium, Captain Ilbert has further shortened his list of suspects. By happy coincidence, the one he deemed the most likely candidate is lately come to Gridania. The hunt nears its end, Arya. All that remains is the corner I query. Seek out Ilbert near the Adder's Nest, who will give you the particulars. Should there be any developments worth this, you may be sure that I will send word without delay. In the meantime, I wish you success in apprehending the Ivy. Alright, let us go to the Adder's Nest. So, that'd be the 8th Right Plaza. I ran right past them because they aren't loaded yet. My thanks for coming, Scion. Doubtless the commander has informed you, but we have unmasked the Ivy. From this point on, we must proceed with extreme caution. Alright, let's grab that tabard. And chasing Ivy. Listen well, the spy we have been seeking all this time is none other than Flame Marshal Eileen Royal, Ravan's second in command. Also, we're on auto still. Oops. Prior to joining the Immortal Flame, she was a mercenary of no small renown. They say her skill with a polearm had to be seen to be believed. Of Ishgardian birth, she is the highest ranked foreigner in the Immortal Flame, sparring the Flame General himself, of course. When they formed the Grand Company, Ravan chose people based on their worth, and whence they hailed was of no interest. Monitors saw things differently, however. Having funded the enterprise, they reserved the right to reject candidates nominated for high-ranking positions. And 'twas no secret that they did not favor foreigners, such guardians especially, after the way the Holy See forsook the alliance. Yet the Monitors did not raise so much as a murmur of protest when the Royal was appointed to her post. Passing strange, is it not? Could it be that the Ivy has some hold over the Monitors? But these revelations are secondary to our current mission. Of foremost interest to us is Royal's presence here now. You may be aware it is the duty of the Flame Marshal to command the Immortal Flames in the absence of the Flame General. While Raban attended the Council of Alliance Leaders, she should have remained in the Hall of Flames. The woman has no business being Gridania, yet here she is nonetheless, on some pretense. She's up to something, mark my words. Even as we speak, I have a dozen men trawling the Flames records for evidence of Royal's guilt. But if we can catch her red-handed, we shall have all the proof we need. Which brings me to the plan. I have people watching the city gates, the airship landing, and the docks, every point of egress. She cannot leave without our knowledge. All that remains is to shadow her until she betrays her true purpose. Can I rely on your eye, Scion? I guess. Yeah, my thanks. Let's go then, and take care not to alert our quarry. Alright. Let us follow! Where are we going? Just right over here. Maybe somewhere. Unloaded. Up there. Gosh dang it. Please load. Maybe someday. Eventually. There we go. Royal is headed in the direction of the Blue Badger Gate with me, Scion. It took me longer to load you than... Oh my gosh. The loading. Alright. Down we go down here. So Royal has entered the Carlin Canopy, meeting someone perchance, or could it be she meets aboard an airship? Pray look for her within. If she's not on the upper floor, try the landing area below. One of mine is stationed there, and she may have seen something. Ephemy is her name. I shall remain here in case a Royal reappears. Blah, blah, blah. Alright, let us jump down. Right, we can't jump down. Would that we could. But that would put us beyond the ticketing gate, I guess. Ariana, such an unexpected pleasure. What brings you here? Ahem, a social visit, you say? How pleasant. No, she didn't come this way. I've known every passenger, none bore any resemblance. Well, don't let me keep you. You almost made it more suspicious when you're like, oh yeah, nice to see you here. Nowhere to be seen, you say, and you are sure she did not throw a pencil off her desk? Not board an airship? She will not come back out either. Where in the Seven Hells could she have gone? The roast! How could I forget? Greetings, good sir. Might interest you in some Muntoy tonic. A cup a day imbues a man with great vigor, if you take my meaning. Perhaps another time, friend. Wait, that necklace. You are a shinobi of Doma. The woman you seek has left Gridania by way of West Shore Pier. She was attired as a merchant, but these eyes are not so easily deceived. You may wish to take your search to the shroud. Rest assured that we shall continue to support you from the shadows. Thank the 12 for the Domans. Were it not for their unique talents, Royal would have disappeared without a trace. Yo. La 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 la. Someday this will load and let me continue the story. And fragrant delicto. Our hunt leads us to the East Shroud, Scion. I suggest we follow the Royal's example and take the ferry from Rush Shore Pier. You'll doubtless wish to make certain preparations. See to them while I go on ahead. I shall wait for you at Sweet Plume Pier. Alright. I guess it's gonna be easier to take that way out. So, question is, can I warp there, or am I gonna have to just do this way? Lancer's Guild it is. This way, my friends. Your quarry makes for the Hawthorne Hut. If Royal is truly the one we seek, we can expect that she means to make contact with her Garlean masters there. An explanation is in order. You are no doubt aware that the Garleans have their own method of communicating over great distances. Well, our ingenious friends at Garland Ironworks have provided us with devices which disrupt these communications. We have installed them around the city-states. In so doing, we made it difficult for Imperial agents to correspond with their masters. Royal would thus have no choice but to rendezvous with her Imperial contact directly, yet as a well-known face in the immortal flames, she cannot move about Thanalan without being recognized. It will only be a matter of time before someone saw through her disguise. It is for this reason I believe that she has chosen the Black Shroud for her clandestine meeting. The Elizin are a common sight here. Our comings and goings are not like to turn any heads. As my scouts tell, the Garleans have sent agents with a mind to destroy the devices and render such direct contact unnecessary. Fortunately, our shinobi have thus far been successful in rebuffing their efforts. This is it. We need to only make for Hawthorne's Hut and catch Royal in the act. Royally? I guess it might be like royally. Eh. To Hawthorne's Hut! Let's go. I guess I could just teleport there, but it's not that far. Cause flying! It's so great. It's so wonderful. I love it. It's amazing. Flying. I should be cutting this out, but I'm not. Flying. Oh, hey, Yugiri. My people report that Akora has departed for the Bramble Patch. The Abbot returns to the Gnarls when she came, but perhaps it is all for the better. Convince someone of her standing will require damning evidence against her. What could be better than to catch her in the act when she meets with her Garlean masters? My countrymen and I shall lie and wait in the shadows. Tread warily, my friends. Alright, so that means we need to head just simply right up here. And we have the Yugiri here. Just beyond, Royal is in conversation with an individual clad in the manner of an adventurer, Imperial intermediary, no doubt. This is it, with me! Flame Marshal Lion Royal, you are under arrest for treason and espionage. You were followed, you bloody fool! Damn Damnation! You are unarmed, my lady, and scarcely guard for battle, but if you wish to fight, you are welcome to try. What is the meaning of this, Captain? Would you arrest me for strolling in the Twelves Wood when last I looked? That was no crime, and neither was conversing with passing strangers. You have feigned ignorance, then. Very well. If you do think of something to say, there will be plenty of time to say it later. Now, come quietly, or I shall make you wish you had. I'll offer you no struggle. After all, I am not to hide. Middle of nowhere. Even the warrior of Royal's renown could not have hoped to escape by force. Despite her claims, her surrender does not bespeak innocence, but an awareness that her position is untenable. With the ivy thus uprooted, it is to be hoped that the tendrils she entwined around the immortal flames will gradually wither and die. Mayhap then the people of Ul'dah will have the grand company they deserve. But let us speak of the present, if I may ask. What will you do now, Arya? So the Scions seek a way into Iceheart's sanctum. I dare say you are eager to return to the Rising Stones. Pray, do not let me keep you. Fear not, my countrymen and I shall tend to the aftermath. You need not waste your talents here. Speaking of talents, have you considered trading in the art of the shinobi? You have the aptitude for it, I believe, so please give it some thought. Till next time, my friend. So that's basically them being like, hey, by the way, Ninja just got released in Rogue in this patch. So, like, you should try it out. Yeah, if I remember right, 2.4 was the patch that did finally add it in. After which they were like, nope, we're not adding in any more proper jobs during the middle of expansion. Just at the start of expansions, not in the middle. Welcome back, Arya. I understand that Alphino had a task for you, may I ask what it was? Charges of treason and espionage against Elaine Royale? I can scarce believe it. Could there not have been some manner of misunderstanding? No, it avails us not to dwell on it. Whatever the truth may be, we must trust to the authorities to uncover it. Let's speak of another matter. I am pleased to report that we have made progress in our efforts to find a way into Iceheart's sanctum. Yay! Progress! A simple plan. As you may recall, Iceheart used the Aetheryte in the depths of Snowcloak to teleport a short distance to the west, most likely to a sanctuary of some description. It is there that we suspect she means to summon Shiva using the crystal she stole from the House Forton Caravan. The heretics believe that they are bringing about the second coming of their patron saint. But if, as we suspect, they mean to hold a summoning ritual of the kind employed by the beast tribes, it seems likely that the result will be something more akin to a primal. Suffice it to say, they must be stopped, and stop them we shall. First, we must surmount the obstacle that Iceheart has placed in our path. Ordinarily, it would be a simple matter to tap into the established internet and thereby follow our query. However, despite our best efforts, we have been unable to ascertain the position of the Aetheryte to which she teleported. Our prevailing theory is that she destroyed the second Aetheryte upon arrival, a reckless, desperate measure, but also an effective one. After discussing the matter at length with Urian J, we have concluded that we lack the expertise to develop a solution. Which is why we have called upon the aid of one who does possess such expertise. A colleague of ours who is currently en route to Revenant's Toll from Charlian. She should be arriving within the hour, in fact. Since you are here, mayhap we could welcome her together. I am certain she would appreciate the gesture. Let us make our way to the northern gates and await her coming. Alright. Let's wait for the carriage outside Revenant's Toll.
Minfilia, am I right?
None other. I bid you welcome to Revenant's Toll, and thank you for traveling so far on such short notice.
As if I could ever say no to Urianger.
Moonbreeder is an accomplished Sharlayan scholar and an authority on aetherite technologies. She has played an invaluable role in our search for a means to capture Ascian souls.
Charmed, I'm sure.
There's Minfilia. Let's return to the Rising Stones at once, then. We have much to discuss. As she slowly walks away. And then just sits there. Because lagging. Oh no, because Moonbreeder had to appear and slowly walk away. Ah. Anyway, back in we go.
Moon! Gods, it's been ages!
Oh, longer, sister.
A joyous reunion indeed.
Well, of course it is. Moon and I are like twin sisters.
Save in appearance and aptitude.
Everyone, if I could have your attention. We have with us an esteemed guest who has come from Sharlayan to assist us. I bid Moonbreeder join us here that she might share with us her extensive knowledge of aetherites. Also, as many of you are already aware, she has been overseeing our research into white auracite, a sample of which she has been good enough to bring with her.
Well, I had to come, didn't I? You'd have to be bloody daft to turn your nose up at a chance like this. Where better to conduct my final tests than a land so steeped in ether you can taste it?
'Tis plain the passage of the years hath done little to dampen thy youthful spirits. And nothing at all to reform thy youthful manner.
Urianger, where in the hells have you been hiding?
Unhand me.
I come all this way, and that's what you have to say to me. I much preferred when you were pleading with me to drop everything and hurry to your side. What was it you said? None save thee can satisfy this need.
Go on. Thine artless attempts to misrepresent mine all too innocent motives do thee little credit. Mine intent, as well thou knowest, was but to impress upon thee the gravity of the circumstance. Lest thou doubt, a deiform entity shall shortly be summoned, save if thou and no other grantest my compeers thine aid.
You still haven't found it, then? Your missing aetherite?
We have not. No. We know that Iceheart teleported to an aetherite not far from the first. Yet even after careful analysis, we could not locate the second beacon. We now suspect that the heretics destroyed the second aetherite to impede our pursuit. Our allies continue to scour Snowcloak for Iceheart's sanctuary, but we have no guarantee that they will find it. Yet it must be found, for even now Iceheart prepares to call upon Saint Shiva.
I'm sorry, but if the Aetherite's been destroyed, then that's that. Although, you're absolutely sure she used the first Aetherite, are you? She didn't just use teleportation magics?
One of our own bore witness to her escape. I can say with absolute certainty that Iceheart used the Aetherite.
In that case, there might be a way, so long as the ethereal current is still flowing.
Truly? How?
We use the current to recreate the beacon. As you know, Aetherites are a bit like lighthouses. We use them to reconstitute our physical forms when crossing the ethereal sea. Without them, we'd lose all sense of direction and our essence would dissipate. However, we don't rely solely on these beacons. There are currents of ether which flow between them, currents which help guide us to our destination. Now, these currents will gradually dwindle away to nothing if an Aetherite is destroyed. But if even a sluggish flow remains, we could theoretically use it to direct a surge of concentrated ether towards the void left by the beacon, and thereby fill it up again.
Like opening the floodgates to fill a dry riverbed. Though, correct me if I'm wrong, but would we not need a veritable reservoir of ether?
In concert, we might manage to channel a sufficient volume, yet that is not my chief concern. To direct the flow of so great a volume of ether with the requisite precision would be a nigh impossible task in itself.
I barely succeeded in facilitating travel to an unattuned beacon. That which you describe sounds considerably more difficult.
And dangerous. Every person who has attempted to teleport in this fashion has died in the process. They, however, did not have white aura sight at their disposal. I can use it to channel all the ether you can give me into the Aetherite. However, white aura sight cannot retain ether for an extended period of time, so we would need to infuse it immediately beforehand. Just so you know, I'd confidently give this plan better than even odds of success. And if the worst comes to worst, your people won't suffer.
Though it risked the lives of our best and brightest, we have not the time to seek other options. If the ethereal current still flows, we shall carry out Moonbreeder's plan.
That's the spirit. Let's roll the dice.
Oh, this doesn't sound dangerous at all. Nope. The instruments of our deliverance. I've already informed Alphino of our plan to recreate the beacon in the manner Moonbreeder described. He agreed that despite the inherent danger, it represents our only hope of success. He also said that he wished to meet with you at Snowcloak before proceeding. I expect you will find him waiting for you there when you arrive. I want you to know that I appreciate everything you have done on our behalf, Arya, and I have faith you will return to us as you always have. Gee, thanks. So I guess we're off to Snowcloak, which means Dragonhead and flying! Hello, Alphino. Good to see you, Arya. I was starting to wonder if you were having second thoughts. Captain Nilbert sends his regards, by the way. He attends the interrogation of William Royal and Ulza even as we speak. I shall not distract you from the matter at hand. We can discuss the Ivy upon your return. Trust that, by which I mean to say, the others are waiting for us at the Aetherite. After you, Scion. There, it's ready. Huh, it worked, I think. Try tuning to the Aether right now. Feel for the current, try to locate the beacon. We've done all we can, Arya. For now, let us withdraw. When your final preparations are complete, you must seek out the beacon we have created. If, by the grace of the 12, you arrive safely, you must stop Iceheart before she summons Shiva. Yeah. She sells seashores. Seashores by the seashell. That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say. Blah 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 blah. Let's speak with Alpha Noah again. Cannot ignore the possibility that our actions have allured Iceheart to our plans. Should that be the case, you may attempt to hasten the completion of the summoning ritual, and if she succeeds, you have little choice but to face Shiva in battle. Knowing little of this saint, I cannot say if your own strength will suffice, and so I would encourage you to call upon your allies. Some may have reservations about wagering their lives on the success of Moenbryde's experiment, but others will surely agree that desperate times call for desperate measures. Before you assemble, though, pray speak with that knight. I believe he has a message for you from Sir Amarek. Madam, Sir Amarek regrets that he could not be here in person and asks that I read to you this letter. Ishgard faces an unprecedented threat, yet in our hour of need it is not her knights who stand poised to defend her. Arya Ariana, the warrior of light, savior Eorzea, your deeds this day shall not be forgotten. Where others would flee, you choose to remain. Where others would falter, you rise to the challenge. Where others would use their gifts for selfish ends, you wield yours in service of a greater cause. May Halone bless you with good fortune and see you safely home. Akh Afah Amphitheatre Hard, now accessible. Yay!
You should never have come here, warrior of light. I labor only to forge a lasting peace. A peace you would deny us out of ignorance and blind faith. No matter. If it is our fate to be at odds, then it is mine to strike you down. We whom gods and men have forsaken shall be the instruments of our own deliverance. Partake of my flesh. Fill this vessel with your light. Walk amongst your brothers and sisters once more. Oh, Saint Shiva, still the hatred within our hearts and bless us with eternal grace.
Alright. Oh, there's a few new people here, it looks like. So, Shiva! There's gonna... be starting out here, and not much to really say. She's gonna have a tonal tank buster, so we are going to want to avoid that. She's gonna do some weapon switching like that. You can see which weapon she's on by paying attention to her status icons. So right now she is on Frostbrand, and when she switches to Frostbrand, she does that little attack like that. And now she's gonna pull out these circles on top of us. And you want to find an opening spot where it's safe to be to avoid them. Now she's switching to Frost Blade, which is where she's gonna bust out that tank buster. And rise to join in the chorus, my brothers. Oh yeah, I also forgot those who have taken up the sword shall perish by the sword. So we've got our ad phase. That old ad phase. So there's gonna be 4 of these ice soldiers. You need to kill them within whatever the allotted time the game has decided. And yeah, otherwise it's a wipe. So let's go ahead and just AoE these down, because rule of 3. I'm not counting Shiva in that 3 though, because she's just kind of here. Nope. I meant to target the soldier, but I targeted Shiva instead. Yeah. Alright, she's on staff again. So she should soon here be swapping off basic AoE with absolute 0 there. And embrace the serenity, renounce the hatreds that consume you. And scatter them like dust in the wind. It took me a long time to fall in love with this song, but I really, really, really like it now. This song is so good. So now as she swaps, she's going to be getting damage up buffs, and she's also going to make it so that these circles come out in a pattern. So you want to make sure you watch the patterns that they come in on and be ready to move in place to not get hit. Same basic thing with the swapping of weapons that she'll be doing and the tank busters. That's a knockback effect. If you get knocked back into the side of the arena, you get turned into an ice boulder, so you need to free. I don't know why the tank is tanking it so close to the edge of the arena here. Glacial Bash is another form of tank buster. And we aren't going to really get to enjoy the song. Sad face. She's going to put a thin ice effect on the ground there. It means if you move, you'll go sliding all over the place, which means you could easily slide into the edge of the arena. And yes, I may have turned up the sound for that. It took me so long to fall in love with that song. It's called Oblivion, by the way. Alright. Let's turn the music back down. Oh, yeah. Alright. So that's Shiva. Has probably one of the best primal transitions in the game. Definitely harkens to previous game Shivas with the whole snapping of the fingers, ice breaking, diamond dust, floating.
Fool. Blind, bloody fool. You, of all people, should understand the suffering war begets. that no sacrifice is too great if it brings an end to the violence. Mine is the righteous cause. You fight in a war you do not understand, a pawn of liars and schemers. And they are no less ignorant than you, following the creed of their fathers without question, never thinking to ask why. Trapped in a delusion of their own creation, and blind to the truth. Warrior of Light, redemption is not beyond us. We who walk before may lead those who walk after. Seek the Keeper of the Lake. See with eyes unclouded. Do not squander Mother's gift. Hear, feel, think.
And so the vessel withdraws, a predictable outcome. Nevertheless, La Habrea will be pleased. How unfortunate.
Loading intensifies. By the 12, you're alive. I mean, of course you're alive. Why wouldn't you be? Itar did what? And you're certain about that, are you? Dravanians are skilled with glamours, after all, but... Look, if you say that's what you saw, I believe you. It's just, I've never heard of a primal being summoned like that before. Are you sure you're not injured? Head trauma has been known to cause hallucinations, you see. No? Fair enough. I was only asking. The road less traveled. If you ask me, there's not to be gained from mulling over the implications of your story in the freezing cold. Let's save it for the Rising Stones, eh? I'll get everyone to meet us there. But before that, you had best pay a visit to Whitebrim Front and speak with Alphino. He's probably worried sick about you. That, or he's busy playing at politics with the Ishgardians. Either way, I'm sure he'll be glad to see you hale and healthy. Speaking of which, you don't have a headache or anything, do you? No? Blurred vision? Oh, no. No reason. See you again soon. Right. No reason, right? Probably turn Toronto back off. Yeah. There she is, and none the worse for wear. Was there ever any doubt that the Warrior of Light would succeed? I think I speak for all of us when I say that I should like nothing more than hear the stirring tale of your victory if you would be so kind. Then we were too late to prevent the summoning. But not too late to prevent further loss of life. An outcome worthy of celebration. And one for which we have Arya to thank. Yes, you are right, of course, Sir Amric. We should be content with what we have accomplished. I, for one, could not have wished for a better outcome. Shiva is no longer a threat, and the heretics have been routed. Aye, there is the Mount of Iceheart's escape, but she cannot run forever. Whether it takes days, weeks, moons, or even years, my knights will find her. In the meantime, Lord Romont, is the caravan ready? The supplies that your men recovered have been prepared for transport in accordance with your wishes. Rest assured that my knights will see them safely, the Revenant's toll. Of that, I have no doubt. I take it these are the self-same supplies the heretics stole from the House Fortemps caravan? Less the crystals, which comprise the bulk of the shipment. Yes, scarcely a fraction of what was promised, but a meaningful contribution to your cause all the same. Oh, And on an unrelated note, Arya, might I trouble you to accompany me to Camp Dragonhead at your earliest convenience? 'Tis not for my benefit. A certain lord was most distressed when he learned of your intent to risk life and limb to start up Iceheart. Took half a dozen knights to restrain him, I am told. Men give vent to their anxieties in myriad ways. I pray do not think less of them. That's all I have to say is, let's go. I'm just gonna teleport there. Too lazy to walk or fly, or I can teleport. What were you thinking, Arya? Wagering your very being on the dubious theory which might allow you to enter Iceheart's lair, knowing full well that she could have sufficient forewarning to complete her ritual to summon Shiva anyway? And then engaging the abomination in mortal combat? By the fury, Arya, 'tis the stuff of ballads about the ages, would I have been there to fight by your side? Yet here I was forced to wait, condemned to wonder at the fate of a dear friend of a veritable eternity. I would not wish such torture on my most hated enemy. But here you are now, and that's what truly matters. Let's move on. Sir Emmerich wished to have words with you and Master Alphino in private. He awaits us in the intercessory. My table I was standing on. Yes, I just tried to click that door open. Don't mind me. Apparently I'm not thinking straight. Greetings, madam. I shall show you in at once. Okay.
On behalf of the Holy See of Ishgard, allow me to express my deepest thanks. Never before have we been required to contend with a primal. Indeed, there were fears in some quarters that our knights might not be equal to the task. From what we have now learned of these beings, I can say with certainty that we would have lost a great many men had the Scions not intervened.
Then the argument for preemptive action should be self-evident. Perchance now you will reconsider my proposal that Ishgard move against Nautalon.
Ere we first met, a similar proposal was tabled, but the Holy See decreed that we were to observe, and that military action should be taken only in self-defense. All things considered, it was not an unreasonable decision. Since the calamity, 2 vigils have fallen to the Horde, while Garuda has never shown any inclination to storm the gates of judgment. Which is why this unprecedented crisis and its resolution may prompt a change in policy. You who have faced these primals know well the threat they pose. Ishgard did not. Not until now. And there is naught like a brush with death to change a man's outlook.
At the very least, this should silence any lingering objections to our arrangement with Revenant's Toll. The Holy See may even feel moved to grant us its formal endorsement.
So far as it is possible, the Scions shall be compensated for their service.
We should be grateful for any aid you can provide.
As a gesture of good faith, I shall withdraw my previous request. Your people are doubtless needed elsewhere.
That will not be necessary. We, too, have a vested interest in watching Dravania's movements.
I see. Once more, I must thank you.
Sir Emmerich, if I may, do you truly believe that Midgardsormr could return?
The heavens are a window unto truth, but those who interpret their movements are not infallible. I requested your involvement as a precautionary measure.
But of course, you sought an excuse to compensate us from the first, mindful of what would happen if Revenant's Toll were taken by your enemies. Ishgard is not wont to aid its neighbors, but that does not preclude it from manipulating them to serve its own interests.
Choose your next words carefully.
Do you know what sort of man becomes Lord Commander of the Temple Knights? One who comes from good stock. I did not. Yet here I am. Now, why do you suppose that is? Because I swiftly learnt to tell the difference between words, deeds, and beliefs. You are correct, Master Leveilleur. Ishgard desires to see Revenant's toll flourish, as it would present a troublesome obstacle to our enemies from the south.
We are so glad to be of use to you.
As we are to you. Ours is a mutually beneficial arrangement, lest we forget, one born of necessity. The dragons grow more restless by the day, and the heretics harry us nigh without cease. We have contended with such troubles for centuries, but there are limits to even our endurance. Yet as a pauper is loath to part with his meager possessions, the leaders of Ishgard are not wont to render up their trust to outsiders. But with perseverance on our part, they may yet be made to see the light. Nevertheless, one must take care when walking the road less traveled.
Wise words, Sir Emmerich. I shall make a point to remember them. I must apologize for my earlier outburst. I hope it will not sour our good relations.
Not at all. You but spoke from the heart. I trust you understand that at times my duties may prevent me from meeting with you. On such occasions, my second-in-command will speak for me.
Lucia, at your service. Pray excuse our reticence. We are but wary of speaking too freely, lest our sentiments be made known to our enemies. Know that the Lord Commander and I are of one mind. For the sake of Ishgard, and of Eorzea at large, I pray our peoples can put aside their differences. Those who dwell in the past risk losing sight of their future.
Should aught befall one of our shipments, pray inform Lucia immediately. You may also relay to her any words you might have for me alone. Not being of Ishgardian birth, she owes no allegiance to any noble house, making her as near to incorruptible as one can find in my homeland. Suffice it to say, I trust her completely, and so may you. Which reminds me, Lord Orchefort, if you would be so kind?
Certainly.
In times such as these, trust is ever in short supply. Mayhap this will go some way to rectify the problem. The results of our investigation into the heretics' recent attacks, as well as our interrogation of the merchant you detained.
Sir Emmerich, I cannot thank you enough.
Think nothing of it. Ishgard may be many things, but it is no friend to Garlemald.
Did I not tell you to have faith, my friend?
Oh boy. Okay, we're having some serious loading intensifies moments here. Eyes unclouded. It would seem we have much to discuss with our friends at the Rising Stones. If what you say is true, Iceheart's method of summoning Shiva defies all precedent. It necessitates a complete reappraisal of the primal threat and of our approach to combating it. Moreover, there are grave ramifications if words of this incident reaches imperial ears. The Garlean Empire believes the Primals are an insufferable menace, that their mere existence is a threat to this very star. As such, they deem any action taken against the beast tribes to be justified by default. Imagine them if it became known that it was not only the beast tribes of Eorzea that could summon Primals, but civilized peoples as well. Any lingering objections to the Eorzea campaign would vanish overnight. Where before we had to contend with a single Imperial Legion, we could well find ourselves facing the combined might of all Garlemald. But I speak unadvisedly. Come, Arya, it is better we continue this conversation in Mordona. Ready to return to the Rising Stones!
Words cannot well express how glad I am to see you return to us hale and whole. Needless to say, I am most eager to hear your account of that which occurred in Kurthis, assuming you're ready to speak of it. Excellent. I shall summon the others at once. Iceheart used her own body as a vessel for a primal soul?
Master Louisoir's writings make no mention of such a possibility. Can we be certain this entity was a primal?
As certain as we can be that good King Mogglmog the 12th was a primal, I should think. Both were ostensibly summoned.
Let's not quibble over definitions. Of more concern is the implication that Iceheart retained her will, even after she was possessed. We are talking about a mortal, wielding the power of a primal.
It can't possibly be that easy, can it? There must be some sort of sacrifice required. Or maybe she's just special?
What qualities this woman possesseth, I know not. But full sure am I that she was groomed for this role. Few are privy to the secrets of summoning, and but a single party standeth to profit from their dissemination.
Well, I wouldn't presume to comment on how the lass came to know about summoning, but I will say that what she summoned was a primal. The readings were the same, or near as damn it. Strange as it all sounds, it's really no different from what you've faced before.
Then mayhap it is time that we re-examined our previous encounters.
Pack your things, Ida. We're going back to Gridania.
Yes, sir.
About Iceheart's final words to you. Hear, feel, think. Hydaelyn speaks to her as well. If Iceheart is blessed with the power of the Echo, she will doubtless have used it to further her goals. Or could it be that it was a revelation granted her by the Echo which first set her on this path? She did say that the Ishgardians were blind to the truth. Do you think she has knowledge of the origins of the Ishgardian-Dravanian War? It would do much to explain her unwavering conviction.
Did not the Lady Iceheart implore thee to seek the Keeper of the Lake? And did she not imply that in so doing thou wouldst come to see with eyes unclouded?
Midgard-Zoma was a king amongst kings who reigned for centuries on end. But he is dead and his wisdom lost to the ages. Unless the Ishgardians' fears are well-founded. It would seem we have yet another reason to stand watch over the Keeper of the Lake. For a mercy, we are well positioned to do so. Iceheart, Shiva, Ascians, and Midgard-Zoma. I shudder to think how they're all connected.
Oh. I was expecting it at the end of the patch. The reason royal. I may scour the annals of knowledge of Midgard's armor. Given his great age, I dare say he appears in more than a few. Do you hear that? The commotion outside? Did you see a thought is amiss? I see. Arya, 'tis well you are on hand. We have a problem. Royal has escaped. Happened shortly after the Immortal Flames took her into custody. She had been placed in a dungeon cell ahead of her coming trial, but apparently the accommodation was not to her liking. The turnkey was found slain along with 2 guards. It is plain she received inside help. Citizens report seeing Royal quitting the city via the Gate of Nod with a bloody spear in her hand. She mates for Caster Meridianum, I'm certain of it. With her fate in the Orzia as good as sealed, what recourse has she but to flee to her imperial masters? Even as we speak, Captain Ilbert and the First are hot on Royal's heels. Pray make haste to Camp Bluefog and join the hunt. Alright. Found my cursor. Let's head over the camp. The Blue Flog. Flog. It's now Camp Bluefog. Can't prove otherwise. I mean, you can, but no, you can't. Right around. Hello. My thanks for coming, Scion. I have spoken with the soldiers here. They say that Royal walked through the camp not a bell ago. Aye, she walked right through. You did not mishear. We have Rabban's decision to keep the matter secret to thank for that. Bad for morale, he said. As a result, not a single flame in the garrison made any attempt to detain her, and so here we are. Royal must not be allowed to reach Captain Meridianum. Oh, right. Let's head up to the cerulean processing plant. Well, a little bit beyond it, actually. Good thing we can fly. I need to stop showing the flying parts. But we can fly. It's so wonderful. There you are. Oh, we have a solo instance, so I'm gonna have to drop out of the party here. Solo instance. The reason royal. This wretch was with Royal. He threw himself at us that his mistress might escape. She didn't blink when we cut him down, not even when he started screaming no loyalty even to her own, the god's damned harpy. With me, Scion, we almost have her. Still probably royally, but wow, I don't care. Sticking with it. I want a royal alive. Kill the rest. For Eodia! Will not take me so easily this time. Do you mind not blinding me with a move that no longer exists in the game? Flash. Sigh. Go AoE ourselves over here. Enemy reinforcements look sharp, man. Show them no quarter. Do you mind not finding me? Oh, Death Buzz, hello. So you may recognize these kind of from well, I can't move. Labyrinth of the Ancients, that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, so they're gonna grab people and... More reinforcements? They really aren't paying me enough. Fools that cannot stand against the Empire. Oh, we've got a Colossus here. These healers, kill them first. Yeah, so it just means that the Colossus impossible to heal because, well, you know, the healer's like, hey, it's impossible to heal. Speaking difficult. So at least I've been in combat long enough that I'm just kind of like resisting that dang blind. Oh my gosh. No. Can't kill her? Fine. She's stuck at 0.1%. The Colossus it is. Unless I just damaged her too much, that I kind of outpaced the way the instance was supposed to go. I think that's what happened. Give us our latest. Hey, Yugiri! Yeah, I think I just outpaced the instance. Oops. We're in your debt. The circle feathers those who wander within, lure the enemy to it. So, basically, Yugiri is telling us to bring the enemies over to her so that they might get paralyzed. Oh, if only ninjas actually got that skill. That would be handy. Very handy. Seriously, how long can someone be at 0.1%? Like, for real. Talk about outpacing the instant. Why'd you take so long to get here, you good? Oh my gosh. Find her and do it tight. Yes, sir. Good work, men. She and her pair of cronies pushed us close, but we were better. Honestly, she would have been dead ages into the thing, but... Behold, the respected officer of the Immortal Flames. People looked up to you as one of their order's founding members, one of its pillars. Saddens me to see you fallen so low. What would you know of low? You, a spoiled little lordling who has never known any want? People such as you take wealth and birth for granted. You think it your God's given right to rule over others. You know not of our plight, the injustice that we low-bornish guardians must endure. To noble lords and ladies, we are not people, but resources to be consumed. I did what I had to survive. Killing, stealing, even whoring myself. It is no fault of mine if fools imagine me a paragon when I join the flames. To hear you tell it, one would think you the only person ever to have suffered. In case you have forgotten, Raban himself was born into poverty, as was I. We lived hand in mouth, with little more than the shirts on our backs. Hunger was our constant companion. Yet never did we bemoan our lot in life, nor did we begrudge others their fortunes. We accepted the hand that we had been dealt, and played it to the best of our abilities. Life was a battle, but no matter what fate threw at us, we took it on the chin and came back for more. Everything we have, we fought for. How are we any different then? 'Tis true that we are both mercenaries of lowly birth. It is true that we both had our fair share of struggles. But whereas I sold my sword, you, Marshal, you sold your comrades. If life has taught me one thing, it is that you never betray your own. I would sooner cut off my own arm than raise a hand against a friend. But enough talk. You will return to Ul'dah to face justice, and the people whose trust you have dragged through the gutter. Ooh. Not so much as a hint of remorse. It's well that this sort of business is finally at an end. Our friend's betrayal cuts deeper than steel. We must hope that we have chosen our own allies more wisely than Raban chose his. Yeah.
I have heard. Truly bothersome business. No, I do not foresee a problem on that front. The main concern is Raban. There is no telling what the brute might do. Have the Blades watch him in the flames day and night. You may leave the Sultana to me. I shall personally attend her grace. Sever one of the East Aldenard trade routes. That ought to keep Lolorito occupied for a while. Nanamo Ulnamo. For my sake, pray be a good little sultana to the last.
Let us cling together. Captain Ilbert and I have a few questions for the Flame Marshal regarding the circumstances of her miraculous escape. When we have completed our interrogation, we shall take our findings directly to General Ruan, and that shall be the end of it. Your work here is done, my friend. My thanks. But I have one last task for you. Return to the Rising Stones and apprise Billy of all that has happened. I'm aware that the antecedent held the Royale in high regard. For better or worse, you will want to know how this tale ends. Pray return to the Rising Stones.
Welcome back, my friend. I have already received word from Alfino. To think that Flame Marshal Huayu was the Garlean agent.
Huayu!
What to say? Together with Bourbon, Eline lent us much needed aid at the time of our order's founding. She was particularly passionate about the need to tackle the primal threat. When we discussed the subject, her eyes fairly shone with determination. Whatever else she may have been, I choose to believe that it was her true self with whom I spoke then. But now is not the time to dwell on such matters. I have an important announcement to make regarding our effort to defeat the Ascians. We shall begin as soon as everyone is assembled. My thanks for coming, friends. Moonbreeder, the floor is yours.
By now, I'm sure you're all familiar with White Auracite, the miraculous material that'll allow us to capture Ascian souls. Back at Snowcloak, we verified its ability to absorb vast amounts of ether. Alas, it leaves something to be desired in the area of stability. The stone can only store ether for a short while before expelling its contents.
In addition to Auracite's inherent limitations, we must needs be wary of our enemy's strength. Our foe draweth upon an infinite wellspring of power. Even should we succeed in entrapping him, the stone will not long contain his wrath.
Meaning that, if we want to kill the swine, we'll have to be quick about it.
'Tis our belief that an Ascian soul may be permanently undone, if smitten by a sufficiently concentrated burst of pure ether.
The only trouble is, we can't say for sure how concentrated the burst needs to be. Without knowing how much ether an Ascian soul is composed of, we're basically guessing.
Our sole clue lieth in thy struggle with La Habrea.
During that encounter, Heidelin bid you forge what she called a Blade of Light, a weapon which took the form of a luminous stream of energy. Based on your description, we believe the blade with which you vanquished your foe was composed of ether. Admittedly, your victory proved ephemeral, as La Habrea was able to use a crystal of darkness to flee into the space that lies between our world and the void. The fact remains, however, that Heidelin placed the means to destroy the Ascians in your hands. Be that as it may, it would be unwise to assume that she will do the same when we next encounter such a foe.
Quite so, my lady. We must needs find the means to forge our own blade of ether, one to equal that which Hydaelyn did benevolently bestow upon her champion.
That is all well and good, but it seems to me that producing such a blade will require a prodigious quantity of ether. Whence will it come, pray tell?
Oh, what if we had 2 pieces of white orosite? One to trap the Ascian, and the other to store the ether for the blade.
Oh, nice try. But it's as I said, the stone won't hold ether for any length of time. We'd still need to collect the stuff there and then, sorry to say.
And therein lies the rub. Finding a way to create the blade whenever and wherever we choose.
It would seem more research is in order.
I'm going to linger a while, perform a few more tests on the orosite. And I could do with some help. Urianger, why don't you lend me a hand?
Mine apologies, but I am required at the Waking Sands. Lady Minfilia hath given me sole charge of the premises. 'Twould be unseemly to leave them unattended.
Sole charge, you say? So you're basically alone there, then? Well, that settles it. I'll just have to come to you.
While you were afield, word arrived from the Sharlayan motherland. You will recall that a survey party was dispatched to investigate the incident at the Isle of Val. What they discovered was troubling, to say the least. According to the report, the Isle has been erased from existence. 'Twas as if a hole had been torn in the very fabric of reality.
Aye, yet the mystery endeth not with the Isle's disappearance. It hath come to light that a number of scholars in various other locales were reported missing at a similar juncture.
What's more, they all had something in common with the head of the students of Baldessian. Every last one of them was researching a phenomenon called dimensional compression, or the rejoining as the ancient texts call it. I'll be damned if that's a coincidence.
All indications suggest Ascian involvement, but I sense that a force greater still is at work. The entity the Dark Beings call the One True God. We must pray that my dear friend Kryl regains consciousness soon. If she bore witness to the Isle of Val's final moments, she may be able to shed some light on this mystery.
Following the calamity, the forces of the 14th Imperial Legion entrenched themselves in strategic locations across Eorzea. So swiftly did they accomplish this, it was suspected that they had received help. To think that it came from Huayu, my right hand.
There is more. We have reason to believe that Huayu didn't deal exclusively with the 14th. She also answered to a higher authority in Garlemald. But this higher authority could not have been the Emperor. By consenting to the Media Project, Solus Zos Galvus showed himself to be more concerned about preventing the spread of primal influence than claiming Eorzea for the Empire. He would happily have seen the lot reduced to ash. We believe a number of high-ranking figures within the royal household were against the decision, but that they knew better than to oppose the Emperor openly. Of course, this didn't prevent them from making clandestine provisions, in which Huayu played a part.
Alas, these provisions did not prevent Dalamud from falling, and the ensuing chaos changed the face of the realm forever. Yet Eorzea survived. To all intents and purposes, the Meteor Project had failed, and the Empire was left to rue its lack of a decisive means to eliminate the Primals. Until, that is, it stumbled upon the Ultima weapon.
Even before the accursed thing was dug up, it seemed to me the 14th had the might to overwhelm our weakened armies. Yet they chose to hide behind their walls. Why?
The Black Wolf was wary of making the denizens of Eorzea desperate, lest more primals emerge to bleed the land. The discovery of the Ultima weapon, however, emboldened him to resume his war of conquest in earnest.
But there was one in Garlemald who believed that Van Belsar's actions were premature. One who stood higher in the Imperial Army's chain of command. He ordered the Legatus to halt his advance, only to find that the Black Wolf had slipped its leash, and that the 14th now acted alone. In a bid to bring Van Belsar to heel, he used the agent he had planted in Ul'dah prior to the Calamity to undermine the Legion's efforts.
A man who outranks Van Belsar, yet opposed the late Emperor's decision to annihilate Eorzea. This could only be the former High Legatus of the Garlean army, now known as Emperor Varus Zosgalvus. So he was Huayu's true master.
But one of several in actual fact. We've learned that even as Huayu served the Empire's interests, she sold Imperial secrets to a certain faction in Eorzea. In so doing, she helped to maintain the status quo, thus prolonging the conflict. Considering who stands to profit from war, it isn't hard to imagine who her other masters were.
7 hells! You mean to say that she was a double agent?
Huh, triple, if you consider her services to Van Belsar and the new Emperor as separate.
As neatly as these pieces seem to fit, one aspect of the puzzle remains unclear to me. By whose will was the Marshal feeding intelligence to the heretics? And try as I might, I fail to see how aiding their cause would profit either her Imperial or monetarist masters. Could it be that another hand is at work here? If so, Huayu must be made to reveal whose it is.
Not only have I lost a trusted friend, now I must interrogate her as a stranger.
Not a pleasant task, I grant you, but a necessary one. Unless we weed out the ivy, root, stalk, and stem, it will simply grow back.
I know that full well. Those closest to Huayu have already been detained, and I will question them alongside her.
General, pray keep in mind that there may be unwitting abettors among them.
All will be treated fairly. On that you have my word. Those who are innocent have no cause to fear.
You have ever been a friend of truth, General. I hope the unpleasant task of weeding out falsehood will not detain you too long. Though it be for the sake of Eorzea, doubting one's comrades is poison to the soul. And with that, I take my leave.
All these years, I've been made to dance to their tune. How could you, Huayu? How could you side with them? Those cankers who take from this land and give naught in return, who use their power to disempower and grow fat while the people starve. I know you can hear me, monetarist scum! Your crimes will not go unpunished!
day I will purge this land of your sickness before the eyes of the 12. I swear it!
I shall have no further need of you this day. Your Grace. I fear that not even mine own chambers shall remain private for long.
Has the situation grown so grim?
Ever since he proposed the Cartiner Reclamation Bill, Teleji Adeleji has risen to greater prominence upon the backs of impoverished refugees. The monetarists were ever united in their pursuit of profit, but the man's actions have torn a rift in their ranks. They snap at each other as rabid dogs. Yet now is not the time to be bickering among ourselves.
If this bickering is a threat to law and order, might you not have grounds to dissolve the Syndicate?
Would that the solution were so simple, Admiral. Alas, my moving to dissolve the Syndicate is certain to spark outrage among the influential merchant class, whom the Cabal represents. This would serve to exacerbate the current unrest, and peace would slip still further away. Be they rich or poor, natives or refugees, all who reside in Ul'dah have a right to pursue happiness. It is the duty of a ruler to protect this right. If I am to perform my duty, I must needs tread warily. It would not do to make enemies heedlessly. Were Lord Lolorito here, he would doubtless say that I have my head in the clouds.
A ruler is required to take a wide view. Try as we might to cater to all needs, some will inevitably be overlooked. As such, there shall ever be citizens who feel aggrieved. It cannot be helped. But as you have informed us, the monetarists take no view but their own. They hunger for power while the masses starve. In the absence of a common cause, it seems beyond any one individual to make Ul'dah whole.
And the presence of a Garlean agent within the Immortal Flames only makes matters worse. Even accounting for Ul'dah's historic reliance upon mercenaries, such a grievous breach of security is unprecedented. I fear this business will provide the monetarists with a rod to beat Rauban.
Eorzea can ill afford for the Immortal Flames to be dampened now. Ere long, the Garleans will turn their ravenous gaze toward our lands once more. If we are to resist their might, our nations must stand together. Yet for this to happen, our nations must be whole. Cannot be done to improve the situation in Ul'dah.
The true wealth of Ul'dah lies in the health, happiness, and hopes of her citizens. Alas, the citizens shall never know these things, so long as their lives are ruled by the ambitions of the few. The monetarists claim to represent the best interests of the people, but in sooth they desire only to manipulate them for their own selfish ends. For the government to serve the people, it must be formed of the people. For Ul'dah to move forward, it is not only the Syndicate that must be dissolved.
Nay, you jest.
My friends, it was for no other reason than to make known to you mine intent that I requested your presence here. When I make my declaration to the people, chaos shall inevitably ensue. As the last monarch in the line of Ul, I make unto you this request. Help Roban to preserve order and protect the people. Forsake them, and you forsake yourselves. For a strong Eorzea will ever have need of a strong Ul'dah.
Your Grace, are you certain of this?
There is no other way. When the time is ripe, the nation shall become a true republic. Both royalists and monetarists shall cease to be. Ul'dah will no longer belong to kings or queens or merchant princes, but to her people. Roban, forgive me for casting aside all that you have toiled for in my name. Beyond this gesture, I am powerless to help my subjects.
Dreams of Ice complete. Oh my goodness. I was like, is this ever going to end? All these cutscenes. What the heck is going on right there? It's like the outside is... the wording outside is like flipping through the door. Anyway, that's gonna do it. We have finished 2.4 stories, so I just leave the 2.4 post-game. Yay! And then we're on the 2.5. Oh my gosh. So, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider liking, commenting, and or subscribing if you really enjoyed it. Well, consider supporting the channel. All support greatly helps to keep being content like this and more. You can find the links for that in the description, along with links to me on social media. So thank you again for watching, and until next time, this is rinimt, signing out. Bye-bye.